Welcome back. The game ended Pontypridd 31, Milan 12. I think we've got some reaction from the players downstairs. Not quite yet. We'll go to them in just a moment. Mike Ruddock is joined us now from the commentary position. Were you disappointed with it? That game as a spectacle, Mike?
Disappointed and quite cold, actually, Steve.
Pretty cold in here too.
No, I'm sure Pontypridd will be delighted they've actually won the game, and they sealed it with a very good try at the end. In fairness, some good handling there to get the score by Manly. You know, they showed what they could do. If the game had been allowed to flow a little bit more, I'm sure they would have scored a few more points.
There was a lot of indiscipline on that field tonight, wasn't there?
There was, and in fairness to the referee, it was a very difficult job for him then, because he knew if he had let things go on the ground a bit, then there could have been some boots flying or some fists flying, and you know, it really wasn't good for the game tonight.
Dale, we expected an expansive sort of game from Pontypridd tonight. It didn't happen. It was played very tight. What was the plan?
I think game plan number one was virtually to win the game, obviously. But I think the boys would have been disappointed. They couldn't run the ball a lot more. We didn't quite have the control we expected to have up front. Our line-outs went pretty much 50-50. I was very surprised at that, because our two jumpers have been playing very well as of late. But obviously Neil did want to play a more expansive game. As I say, unfortunately it came down to a kicking duel, and we're fortunate enough that Neil had his boots on at the end of the day.
For the moment, thank you. I understand we can go down to the tunnel now, where Roger Davis is waiting to speak to the Pontypridd captain Nigel Bazzani, and I think we've got the try scorer there too, haven't we, David Manley?
Nigel Bazzani, it was a momentous night for Pontypridd Rugby Club.
Yes, we're breaking into new ground. Very tough match to start with, very physical. I suppose they weren't much of a spectacle because I think they come to kill the game, and we kicked a lot of points from Neil Jenkins, and we managed to get the try in the end to make it a bit exciting, and obviously we're looking forward to the next round now.
You had a very good start. It was a very fast tempo, and then there seemed to be a bit of niggle, and the game slowed down.
Yeah, that's right. They started to spoil a bit of ball, and you could see we wanted to play a bit of an up-tempo game, which is what we wanted to do. And they just came to kill the ball, what I can see of it.
It must have been a difficult game to prepare for, because the Milanese were a bit of an unknown quantity.
That's right. You know, we don't know much about the sides in Europe, and this is a first step for us, and it's a learning curve as well, so we enjoyed it though.
Now, having had your first taste, are you eager for more?
Yes, we're looking forward to the next round. I know we're away, but we're going in. We've had a good win now, and we're hoping to go further in the second round.
Of course, it now sets up that showdown in Dublin with Leinster. That's a prospect and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game that again away, and we'll be looking forward to it.
Thanks, Nigel. If I can turn to David Manley, the try scorer. You hadn't had much to do before that point, really, did you?
No, it wasn't much of a game for wingers, really. I don't think the bloke I was marking touched the ball, so that's the first time I had it in hands, and luckily it's just a straight run in.
And the try itself actually came from a scrum which was going backwards initially, didn't it?
Yeah, for a couple of scrums on the trot there, I think, because they were a man down, they really went for it, and the scrum was going backwards, and as it went backwards, I don't think the move went quite right. There it is there now. The move seemed to go wrong, but somehow it worked this way out. There's some good hands by Paul and Neil. Matthew Lloyd got it away, Richie Collins took it on then, give it out, and then it just worked this way out to me on the wing, and it's a clear run in and put down then. So yeah, it's chuffed.
It might be difficult. It must be difficult for you as a winger to keep your concentration in a match like that for that type of moment.
The thing is, you know, it's a big game, so everyone was glued in for it. 80 minutes isn't that long to keep concentrating. The crowd kept us going. Although I was out the game for long periods of time, there's always plenty. You've got to stay awake, and I think it's such an exciting. Well, I thought it was an exciting game, very physical. I think the forwards done really well because they were a physical pack. They were spoiling a lot. There was quite a few punches and things going in. The boys kept their cool, and in the end, you know, we reaped the rewards for it.
It was the first taste of European Cup rugby for Pontypridd. Are you now eager for more as well?
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, it's the pinnacle. That's what's going to be the main thing from now on. I think European rugby, and it's nice to be in there at the start, and we got to try and keep in there now.
Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Dale, when the game started, it looked as if Pontypridd were going to run up a cricket score, didn't it? In the first couple of minutes, there was some tremendous pressure, notably from your brother Shane. Let's have a look at that incident. Here he comes.
Yeah, he seemed to straighten the line and hit the ball very well. The defence wasn't that good, but he kept his legs pumping and was lucky to make an extra yard or so. The ruck was pretty slow. Ruckball was very slow coming back actually, but we were not lucky enough to clear that, and hence put a bit more pressure on them.
Was that your impression, Mike, early on, that Ponty were well on top there in the first 10 minutes or so?
Ponty started tremendously well. You know, Shane was going up the middle, he was setting up second phase ball, and you know, Milan really at that stage must have got together really and said, look, you know, we have to slow this game down, we have to stop these guys playing such dynamic football. And you know, they did succeed in slowing the game down and spoiling the game.
But there was some indiscipline there, Mike, wasn't there, as we mentioned earlier on. Let's have a look at some of that. And for it.
A lot going on. You know, I said on the commentary earlier that the referee didn't seem to be helped that much by the touch judges, and you know, he was having to look for everything himself, and so therefore he was picking up things very, very quickly and not letting things develop.
This was a very disappointing aspect of the game, Dale, wasn't it?
Definitely, yeah, and it obviously resulted in a sending off. Obviously, in the amount of penalties given away by both sides, it was a very niggly game, and I feel that Milan did actually kill a lot of ball, hence not letting us to play a lot of our expensive rugby. In the end, we then look towards the players to sort it out if the referee isn't doing so, and obviously that's not good for rugby in general.
OK, well, I understand that Dennis John, the Pontypridd coach, is available now down in the tunnel. Let's rejoin Rodri Davis.
Dennis John, you told us last night how much you're looking forward to this match. You must be a happy man tonight.
I'm happy with the result. Not altogether happy with the performance, but I'm very pleased that the boys were able to remain in control and keep the cool.
Was the match played as you'd expected it to be?
Well, after watching, I've got two videos on them and Treviso, and they kick lumps out of each other. They kill the ball, they just kicked it downfield, and I think there were 6 penalties on each side. So they didn't come to play properly as we know it. To gain second phase would have been a miracle. To gain third or fourth, now we'd have had to look for God's help.
Because the first 20 minutes it was played at a very fast tempo. You tried to move the ball, and then the niggling started.
Well, yes, we would have liked to have played as we started off in the first 10 minutes, but unfortunately we missed an opportunity to score, and then things got a little bit niggly, and we slowed it down on times when I'd liked for us to quicken it up. But there we are. The biggest thing for me was our control and the way we kept our cool.
It was nice to get a nice try at the end as well.
Yes, yeah, they called the move, it went wrong like everything else. They adapted, and they were all for a nice try in the corner.
As a first experience of European Cup rugby, are you happy with the general feeling within the club?
Yes, we have worked very hard to get where we are, and it's a reward for the players, and they worked hard over 3 years. We learnt a little bit today, to be fair, and we learnt quite a bit about the way other countries play, and if they play like that against Wales and somebody gets their kicking boots on, we could win again.
Dennis, thanks very much.
Thanks very much.